You can see the bubbles moving through. And again, this goes to number 3 injector. See the bubbles coming out of number 3? All the other ones have no fuel moving at all. Nothing's coming out of them. See all the fuel coming from number 3? All that is dumping pressure from the high pressure rail. It's going right into the injector and dumping out the return side.
In this video, I'm showing a test method for diagnosing a crank no start on any Ford 6.7. This method is used to diagnose why the high pressure fuel will not build. I don't think this method has ever been shown before on YouTube for the Ford 6.7s. This is an older method used on older diesel engines, but applies in this situation. If this video helps you or you learn something, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Also, please let me know if you've ever used this method before on your Ford 6.7 in the comments. Okay, let's get to it.
Okay, this is a 2015 F550 with a 6.7. This system has fuel, has metal in the fuel system. So, I don't know if you can see metal. So that's obviously not good. But we're going to be doing everything on this engine, but to diagnose exactly why it wouldn't start, because we already installed the DCR, just to try to help to diagnose the situation before replacing all 8 injectors, the rails, everything, and dumping the tank. I want to see if any of the injectors are returning too much fuel. So in a crank no start condition, you're obviously looking at how much low pressure is being delivered to the pump, how much your pressure control valves are opening or closing off, I should say, volume control valve, high pressure at the rail. Seeing this system has auxiliary air compressors, AC compressors, so there's a lot of stuff to remove, but looking at all those things. But if you're still not making enough pressure, you're looking for a reason why. And in this case, suspected that one of the injectors is sticking open. So on the return lines, you can see these little bottles. I'm checking the return fuel flow while cranking. And one of the things I already noticed is just having the low pressure pump priming the system, this injector is allowing fuel out, and that's not okay. These injectors should not be opened unless they're being energized, which of course, just with the fuel pump running, they're not. So these little stoppers are because this system is pressurized, right? You have pressure coming from the tank, the pump, and that's return side, but it feeds back into the filter, but it's also pressurized for back pressure for the injectors. Anyways, so you need these in order to block off the return side. Anyways, we're going to look at the volume coming through while we're cranking. I can't show you right up here while we're cranking, but looking at the IDS software, I'm at my fleet account, so this is just want to show you all the codes that we have. These were all here prior. This truck just stalled. Basically, it was stalled, and no codes for injectors. No, it did have codes for the fuel system that was too low, but because we had to disconnect the batteries, there was loss in some of the codes. Reductant data was all there, but let's see here. Obviously there's a lot disconnected right now. Mass airflow, all those sensors are disconnected because of all the stuff we have taken off, but we need to still check the fuel system. And like I said, I think number 3 injector is actually stuck open, even though we have no codes at all for number 3 injector. And that's why sometimes you have to check these things, because there's a lot of reasons why you can still have a no start condition besides the pump, besides the pressure regulators, lots of different reasons. Even the pumps can sometimes have some of the one-way valves fail besides just metal in the system. Anyways, let's see here. I want to go to live data. Fuel system. Just want to look at the fuel while cranking. Okay, that'll be good enough for now. Just want to look at how much fuel we're making while cranking, which will be right now key on, engine off. Hopefully you can see that. It says 206. This thing while cranking is only building about 700 to 900 psi. Again, we're looking for a reason it's not building high pressure. So it's dumping too much fuel, and that's what I think. So I'm going to go ahead and crank it. Okay, went a little higher that time, but we need to see if that injector, so we have a lot of smoke under the hood, so I think that the injector is opening too much. And you can see the bubbles moving through. And again, this goes to number 3 injector. See the bubbles coming out of number 3? All the other ones have no fuel moving at all. Nothing's coming out of them. See all the fuel coming from number 3? All that is dumping pressure from the high pressure rail. It's going right into the injector and dumping out the return side. So this is just to show, this is one of the reasons why you can have a crank no start and how you can diagnose it. It's very possible this injector is trying to fire, but either way it's dumping pressure on the return side. So hopefully this helps somebody. Yes, you will need to buy these fittings. They're not cheap. Accurate Diesel sells them for about $25 each. I only buy 4 because I can do one whole side of the engine at a time. This kit, you're going to have the return side, the singles, and you're going to have to make them. Nobody sells this kit. I had to make it myself, but this is one of the ways you have to diagnose it. Okay, hopefully that helps somebody. Another thing I wanted to mention is that this engine, let's see, we had just done a few things about 5 months ago to it, and we noticed a fuel knock, and it was running fine, but definitely a fuel knock. No smoke, no nothing. The driver, because it's a fleet account, so they have lots of drivers. This is a F550 and it's a bus. So the driver had mentioned when it stalled, he saw a puff of white smoke coming from the engine. And so this is one of the primary reasons I was so suspicious about what's happening here. I didn't want to just do the DCR because I figured there was going to be a lot more going on. Anyways, I had already taken off the pressure control valve. When I had done that, again, volume control valves on top of the pump, pressure control valves on the rail. The pressure control valve had a very small amount of metal on it, not that much, but it was very black. The fuel on the pressure control valve was very black, so I was very wondering why that was. So we had done in the last video, the last portion, showing that there was fuel coming from number 3, right? Well, look at the color. Hopefully you can see the color of the diesel that was coming from number 3. How black it is. A lot of carbon in the fuel. So that's a big deal. And then if you're looking at number 3 injector, you can see the bad lighting in here. I can turn my light on. See how there's fuel still coming down? Wow. Sorry about the focusing. It's dry on the outside. This is coming from inside the injector. The nozzle area is leaking. So I believe the blackness is compression that was leaking up into the injector, causing the blackness. That could have been the reason. There was a compression ring there. It was fine. Everything was sealed correctly, but the injector failed. And focus. Yeah. So I was looking for a crack on the nozzle. There was no crack, and if there was a crack, I would have suspected to see huge amount more smoke, but we didn't have any smoke. Wow, sorry. Anyways, yeah, so just more diagnosis, what's going on. I have to validate if the cylinder's okay. I did a relative compression test on this before we even started, just to verify that relative compression was fine. There was no missing. And again, the truck didn't have any issues. It just stalled. And the driver said there was a white puff of smoke. So, and again, I had seen, or heard, I should say, the fuel knock issue a few months ago, while we had done some other repairs. I think it was just an oil change. And what else did we do? I can't remember. Anyways, nothing related really to the fuel system. It just randomly knocking and no smoke, but that was very concerning to me. And then, of course, a few months down the road, it stalls. So if you have a knock, it's very possible you have an injector issue, which fuel knock will obviously be a problem, but couldn't figure it out. There was no codes, no nothing pointing to the problem. Relative compression showed fine. Injector wasn't returning too much fuel at the time. Yeah. So I will make the last part once I put this all back together. Thanks. All right, looking at the tank, looking to see how much metal's in there and how much cleaning is going to be required. All right, so yeah, there's glitter in there. Not sure if you guys can see that or if anybody can see that. Of course, the camera's not focusing very well, but you see all the metal in there. There's definitely quite a bit of metal in there, so it's got to be cleaned out. It's not easy to do on these, come on, focus. Not easy to do on these tanks that have their metal, that have the laminate. Best you can do is, you know, obviously you could replace it, but that's expensive. But a lot of cases, it's best to just wash it out the best you can, and yeah, get everything out of there. And that's not easy to do on these, but it is what it is. Okay. Okay, so this thing's all back together. Got all the injectors in and hard lines and all that stuff ready to go. Just finished putting the tank back in. I gotta put some fuel in it so that we can get the system primed, but the tank's in there now. And I just finished programming the IQA numbers for the new injectors. So yeah, about ready to start it all up. Okay, getting ready to do the initial startup after installing all the fuel system parts. Obviously the front end again is off because there's so much to put back on, but the belt's not attached, and so therefore none of the accessories will work, and therefore water pump will be spinning. And we're just checking to make sure there's no leaks before we put it all back together. It's a lot of pieces that could leak potentially, and of course it's easier to make sure before you put it all back together. Okay. Just cycle the key real quick. And obviously looking at the rail pressure, seeing what that's going to do, and we're going to start it. Okay.